Hey guys, I'm James Marsters and I played Spike on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Being able to act. I was just talking to a friend. When you film, you usually work for 12 hours a day, but you're really only acting for half an hour. And I got used, I'm used to, when the curtain goes up, you get 2 hours of acting before you have to stop. I actually really like my job, and it's always a little heartbreaking to hear the word cut. I love the word action. I'm always in a good mood when they call action. It doesn't matter how tired I am, how cold I am, if they're lighting me on fire or whatever. But I always hate that word cut because I have to stop. So it's just really, you just get to do it more in theater. Yeah. I didn't have much time to prepare. They were looking for someone to play Spike for a long time and hadn't found anyone. And I think that Joss told them to scrape the bottom of the barrel and call in people that they normally wouldn't audition, which is why I got the audition. I was new in town. I didn't have a lot of credits. And so I was very lucky that they didn't find someone earlier. But I think when I was cast, there was 3 days before we started filming. So I remember I had to get comfortable with the idea of having fun murdering people. And it's a funny thing because you really do want to be the character, so you really have to honestly ask yourself, could I have fun murdering someone? And the initial reaction is, of course not. But as an actor, that's a problem. And I had just done a Macbeth in Seattle, and Macbeth is a warrior, and so I did some reading on the psychology of soldiers, and found that it's very common for a soldier who unfortunately gets into a situation where they have to kill somebody, that it's very exhilarating. There's something about I think I'm surviving, you're not, one of us is going to die and it's not me today. There's something probably very visceral and animal about hunting prey, and I'm not, for whatever reason, it seems to be a common thread that soldiers feel this elation, and they spend the rest of their lives feeling guilty about that. It's one of the things that soldiers don't talk to civilians about. They don't think that we would understand that, and they often don't know that it's not just them that felt that way. It's almost everyone that feels that way. So to play Macbeth, I already came to peace with that. Someone who did a job. His job was warrior, and then he came home to his wife. So it was kind of a leap to play a psychotic murdering vampire, because Macbeth, he'll kill you if he has to, and he won't feel guilty about it. But he's not like he's looking forward to it. It's just part of the job. But I think that I was lucky that I just had done that, so that I didn't have such of a mountain to climb. Yeah, and then I ripped off Malcolm McDowell. I don't know if you know an actor. He's an English actor. He was in Stanley Kubrick's Clockwork Orange.
Yes.
And he did a movie, he was the lead in that, and he did a movie called Cat People. It was a remake of a 1950s film about people that were kind of half cat, half people, and a very sexy movie. And he had a feline kind of walk that I thought was just the coolest thing I'd ever seen. It was the coolest way anyone walked, and he never walked that way normally. But I remember watching that film when I was a kid thinking, I'm going to rip that off. I'm going to play a character at some point, and I'm totally ripping that walk off. and I did. And so I used that, and then Rutger Hauer, who was in Blade Runner as the main robot guy, he had an eerie way of delivering his lines, and especially when he was looking at his minions and ordering them around, because he was scary and loving at the same time. And so I ripped off Rutger Hauer and Malcolm McDowell, put on the best accent that I could, and then just hoped for the best, because there just wasn't a whole lot of time. I did it well enough for the audition, but oftentimes, especially in the first year, they would ask me, "Are you doing Australian?" And so it was not perfect. It was good enough to fool a lot of people, but not the British. And I remember one day I said, Miss Bullock is English for, well, maybe we can't say. It's
You can.
Okay, it's your balls, right? So, well, my balls. So, and it's a common word that they throw around in England. So it's Bullock, and they spelled it. The American writers of Buffy spelled it bull-lock, Bullock, and so that's what I said. And Tony came up to me, Tony Head, who plays Giles and who really is English. He just came up to me and goes, "We don't say it like that, you're right. You're embarrassing me back home, and I'm going to help you now." And so he tutored me by force for months. And as soon as the script came out, Tony would be dropping at my trailer door, and we would sit down line by line, and I would read the lines, and he would correct me until he was satisfied that I was going to stop embarrassing him. So I think without Tony, I wouldn't be known for being able to do such a good accent. Very, very surprised. Evil is not cool to Joss Whedon, who created Buffy, and I really respect that, because I think in real life, evil is not cool. Evil is gross, it's laughable, it's disgusting, but it's not cool. It's not sexy, and that's why in Joss's creation of Buffy, vampires are very ugly when we bite someone. Joss did not want that moment to be sensual at all. He wants vampires to be metaphors for what you have to overcome, especially in adolescence. And so vampires are supposed to be ugly and very quickly dead. And that was kind of the whole setup for the show. And he got talked into one romantic vampire, that was Angel. It wasn't his idea. It was his writing partner, David Greenwald, who's also a genius. Angel took off like a rocket. And Joss told David, that's the only one. You get one, we're not doing any more of that. And Spike came along, and he wasn't designed to be a romantic vampire. That wasn't the idea at all. But that's what happened. And that's how the audience reacted to the hair dye that they gave me and all the eye makeup that they gave me. And Joss was very, very uncomfortable with that. I remember he backed me up against a wall and just said, "I don't care how popular you are, kid. You're dead. You hear me? You're dead." And he was really mad. And I just was like, "It's your football, man. Like it's your, yeah, whatever. Just pay me this week, And so I was told that I was gonna be killed off in 5 to 10 episodes, and if I was very lucky, I would last 10, but probably less than that. And so I was very surprised he didn't kill me off, because I think I was endangering the theme of the show. And I have to say, if I had been in his position, I would have killed Spike immediately. I would not have put up with that. But Joss has got more creative courage to explore the character, and to make that kind of character fit in with the theme of the show. I think is a testament to his bullocks and his creativity. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought that was going to be. I thought that Hush was going to be a very easy episode because there was no dialogue. You didn't have to memorize your lines. It's going to be a piece of cake. That was one of the shows that Joss directed, and that was really hard to film because all of the information that normally would be conveyed, or emotion or interaction, the story that normally would be carried by the words has to be carried by nonverbal action, little turns, little frowns, all of those little, what we call beats in storytelling, have to be done in pantomime. So Joss was like, no, James, I want you to hear it, look down, frown a little bit, look back up, and then shrug. But don't look like it was your idea to do it. So it was just minutia directing. And it was really constraining because normally in film you don't get a lot of notes, because the more notes you give an actor, the more it looks like the actor is just doing the notes as opposed to actually being believable. So most directors try to give only a few notes, but Joss was forced at that point just to give endless notes, and so it was a process of trying to make all those notes seem natural. No. I'm a punk rocker, and I thought that the musical was cheesy. I was like, you're gonna do a musical? Oh my God, that's gonna be horrible. Because I grew up, the only theater in my little town in America did musicals, but they're like the old-fashioned musicals, like Carousel, or Bye Bye Birdie, or The Music Man. And there's a lot of musicals now that are really very dramatically satisfying, but those weren't the musicals that I saw. And so I thought that it was a terrible idea. I was comfortable singing in public. I was already doing that in clubs at the time, but I didn't think that Joss could write good music either. I was horrible. He gave the cast a cassette of the songs, but it was him singing the songs. And Joss is a really, how do I say this? As a singer, Joss is a wonderful writer. And he's a genius at what he does, but what he does is not singing. And so when I got the cassette, I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. It was just him plunking it around, on the piano, and it didn't have any of the flash that you saw. And I thought the show was doomed. I thought that we were absolutely just flushed down the toilet. I was like, you've gone insane, Joss. What happened to you? And I didn't believe in him. I've learned, having worked with him for so long, to just trust him. If he thinks it's going to work, it's possible, and he'll get you there. But I was just faithless at the time. Yeah.